Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tartar Zone. I hope you're doing very well indeed. I've just seen Charlotte's message, so I'm going in to check Facebook now. I have sent the links out, emails out to everybody else as well that's coming on tonight. So we'll just take a quick look at this. But we're here to talk about Screen Rant. We were going to talk about something different, but I've seen this and I have to discuss it. Screen Rant coming out with their nonsense now. It's not what President Lemon in the chat there thinks. They come up with because different writers have changed canon so much and all of this other fucking nonsense. But it's another attack. It's another attack on our show, and it's another attack on the Fourth Doctor. Now, remember, throughout the Whittaker era, William Hartnell was, all the male doctors were, but William Hartnell in particular was attacked. Yes, Charlotte, that's no problem. That's no problem at all. That's no problem. So they've been attacking William Hartnell, the media, Screen Rant again now, the latest. And Screen Rant have previous, by the way. They're always attacking William Hartnell. Also, we want to talk about the online rumors. Again, I will say it, online rumors from places like Gallifrey Base, Reddit. The places where all of these grifters say that they actually get, where they get their source info. They say they have sources, but that's where they get it. So we're here to discuss some of the nonsense rumors that are circling online. And as you know, yourselves, I used to do this all the time. We'd get Marty on and he'd find rumors on Gallifrey Base and Reddit and other places like that. And we'd come on and we'd take a read of them, and we'd have a good laugh, because some of them are absolutely fucking ridiculous. But we used to have a laugh about it. But we do have some. It first came to light from, I have to mention the YouTube channel. The Confused Adipose was the one that did the video on it, and then the Tin King, who's in our chat, then actually put the rumors in our chat for us. So thanks to the Tin King also that I'm able to read out what the rumors are. And we also have someone joining us that hasn't been on the channel in a while. He does the movie zone with me, which I'm hoping to bring back because I actually do enjoy doing the movie zone with the next guest, the guest that I'm bringing on. Queen Charlotte won't be with us tonight. She's just had to get back from work and she's a bit tired. So that's all good. Have your break and we will see you again soon. So there's no worry about that. If anybody is ever tired, you just have to send me a message and let me know, and it's all good. And so enjoy your tea and enjoy. Put your legs up now. Sit up and relax for the night, or sit down and relax. Sit down and relax for the night and watch a bit of TV and chill out. That's what it's all about. Now, I better tell PD Rich also that I've sent the link. I should have stayed on Facebook. It's going to take fucking ages. I'll bring you two lads on now in a second. Just bear with me. So that's what we're talking about today. We were going to talk, as I said, about something else, but I see this article and Screen Rant Digital Spy. They do get on me nerves, I have to say. They're always attacking the Fourth Doctor. Actually, they're always attacking the male doctors. It's absolutely disgusting. Imagine if all of those male doctors, right, just flip it. Imagine if they were all women, right, and they cast the first ever doctor a couple of years ago, the first ever male doctor couple of years ago. And could you imagine the production team, right, bashing? That must be PD there now. Yeah, it is. See that on Facebook. I'm still trying to get into Facebook. Anyway, but if it was flipped, right, there'd be uproar. Right, there'd be absolute uproar. Oh, misogynistic, how dare you? But it's okay when it's a female doctor, and then all of these media and the production team to attack the Fourth Doctor, the one that made it all. And yes, technically, either way, look at, this is the thing, right? He was the Fourth Doctor. Now, if the show hadn't went on to be successful, he would have been the only Doctor. but it still doesn't change the fact of the matter that he was the very first Doctor on screen, right? So this article from Screen Rant, either way, is just shitting on William Hartnell, and I'm sick and tired of it, and that's what the panel and myself are going to be talking about. Now, if any of you guys in the chat see President Lemon, Queen Charlotte is there as well, and who else have we got? We got Nicholas. Do we have Nicholas Horton there? I thought I saw Nicholas Horton. We do. We have Nicholas Horton there as well. There's 14 watching. Hit that like button, please. Smash that like button. And we got Ezra, who's just popped into the chat as well. Welcome. Right, let's bring on our panel because I'm not alone, of course. And there's no Queen Charlotte, so he gets introduced first. It's the one and only Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Oh, I could get used to this treatment.
Yay! What an honor. There you go. And of course, we've got our other regular panelist, the one and only Mr. PD Rich.
Hey ho.
And he doesn't sound too happy, but of course we'll get into that now in a minute.
Never
and
happy.
Of course,
never happy.
You're never happy. You're like me. We're miserable bastards all the time. Anyway, we're not alone, and it's been a while, as I said, since I had him on, so I'm actually delighted that he's agreed to come on because he must be really busy. But it's the one and only real Super Doctor. Yay!
Hello.
Hey,
How you doing?
We're doing good. It's been a long time, you little bollocks.
I know.
How are you getting on?
Not bad. I've got things to do, and I'm just been a bit busy, and just can't get on.
Well, I hope whatever it is, it's good, and everything is good with you and your family. Because it's been a mad. Obviously, it's been mad since the last time you've been on. Lots has happened in the world and all of that.
Yeah.
But we won't get into that. We'll talk about Doctor Who, but let's get into this Screen Rant article, right, folks? I just hate Screen Rant. I have to be honest with you. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a journalist that's close to Disney and BBC. Is the journalist's name even on this article? Yeah, Jack Walters, whoever he is. Jack Walters is a self-proclaimed expert on everything pop culture. so you're self-proclaimed. Okay, you fucking muppet. Let's get into this anyway. So, the article headline is Doctor Who, William Hartnell was never considered the first Doctor. Doctor Who has been through several iterations of the Time Lord since it began in 1963. But while most audiences would understandably consider William Hartnell's original version to be the first Doctor, this technically isn't true. Throughout the show's extensive history, there has been plenty of different writers and showrunners in charge of the project, and each one has made dramatic changes to the canon that make it somewhat difficult to understand exactly where every single version of the Doctor sits on the timeline. Well, you're absolutely wrong there, right? He's the first Doctor that appeared on screen. I don't care what showrunners have done after the fact. The fact
it's only really Joe Martin that's difficult to predict where she is, because
but even I fit Joe Martin between the second, the first and the second Doctor, right? Or was it the third and the second and the third Doctor? She fits in somewhere there. She's definitely not before Hartnell. I don't care what they say. They could say shit about our TARDIS and they could say this, that, and the other. It's never been established anyway with the fugitive Doctor where they actually sit. But the bottom line is William Hartnell is the first Doctor, no matter what this website says.
Yep.
Thankfully, Doctor Who is a show with an immense fan base, a very active community that helps answer all the questions. Do they now?
Shouting abuse and profanity to him.
I wonder what fans Jack has been talking to. Let's see.
Want a purple hair?
However, there are some questions in the show that even the most vocal audience don't know the answer to. The Doctor's true name, for one, and the confusion history of regeneration in Doctor Who has raised several questions. What's the confusing thing about regeneration? William Hartnell got sick. They come up with a plot device to continue the show. There is nothing complicated about it. I mean, he's trying to find things that are not even there. We understand regeneration. right? The thing about it is that RTD has come back and he clearly doesn't understand regeneration. 'Cause look
Oh,
what,
Yeah.
right?
yeah.
But we understand what regeneration is. You don't need to school us fans. Self-proclaimed expert, my fucking arse. Anyway, let's continue. Where audiences have previously been trapped by question, it seems to have been answered in an old Doctor Who magazine. And then he brings up the brain of Morbius, confirms
Oh, not again.
doctors before Hartnell. I'm sorry, but that is a falsehood. Okay, the Doctor was fighting Morbius, not other incarnations of the Doctor. This is bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Showrunners today are trying to be clever and they're coming up with things that they think will improve the show or make the canon make sense. Because I will admit that Doctor Who canon is all over the place. We all know that. But the main things are in place. Hartnell's the Fourth Doctor. We understand what regeneration is, right? They're the two main things. And he came from Gallifrey. Over the past few years, that's been changed.
It's only
You see, I could explain that. I could explain why the Morbius is.
Go on.
They keep saying it's to understand because it's just. I never get it because is it. I mean, I suppose if you're new to Doctor Who, and you're new to sort of sci-fi and new to the sort of genre, and you're watching Doctor Who for the first time, you probably will be confused.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, didn't Series 6 confuse most of us? I mean, didn't we have to rewatch that a couple of times to really get that? Or the whole River Song thing? That can be on first watch. That could be difficult to pinpoint.
Before John pops in, right? Before John pops in there, because I know he wanted to pop in there, but this is how he backs up this claim, right?
Yeah.
And this is how, and John will laugh at this, and I will, because we're old enough, and even PD. One expert, what's that word? When he takes something out of a fucking magazine, right? From an old Who magazine confirms that at least originally, these faces were intended to be the previous Doctors. Yes, they were. You're absolutely right. We all know that because if you're a Doctor Who fan and you watch the behind the scenes and you hear people talk, they do say originally that these faces did intend to be the Doctor, but they didn't do it. They did change their minds. They did. They changed their minds because they knew if they opened that can of worms, they would have to go back and try and explain it in more detail. So they decided then instead to make it Morbius, and that's who he was having the mental fight with. Nobody else.
Yep. But I'm with Terry on that one as well.
Three things. Originally intended, like you say, originally intended. That literally means, okay, there was an idea that was originally supposed to happen. Again, originally intended, but then didn't end up happening. I mean, and second of all, they literally retconned all of it anyway. So even if they had gone full on and said, even in the episode and in the final product, no, this is previous Doctors, let's absolutely make that clear. Even if that was the case, it's still retconned later on in the Deadly Assassin when they established the 13 lives rule. Because obviously, if that was the case, then we would have never have gotten. Well, I think Tom Baker would have been the 10th Doctor by that point or something. So even by their own standards, they literally retconned it in the Deadly Assassin. I think a season later.
Yeah.
And third of all, again because of that because of the second rule, because of the retcon, it's literally been changed as as fans for decades have always theorized. I mean, I've always subscribed to the opinion that again it was a mind-bending competition. There was going to be faces shown from the Doctor's past. There's going to be faces shown from Morbius, and that was all how I always saw it. Those faces. I mean, I think it was Ballstruck who actually said it in a video once, and I watched it, and I thought, actually, that makes sense. As those faces appear, Morbius says the lines, kind of boasts. Morbius boasts about how long have you laid? Kind of he kind of boasts, and I took that as him having the upper hand. I mean, that kind of visual clue or audio clue. So again, I just always took that as, oh yeah, those are Morbius's previous faces because that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Again, and besides, with the Doctor, not question it. I mean, if even if they did go through with it, but the Doctor not sit and think, hang on, I don't remember looking at him. Who are all these people? Oh, the Doctor doesn't mention it. Oh, Sarah doesn't mention it. Nobody mentions it. And it's just as soon as he gets this knowledge, it's swiftly forgotten, I guess, somehow. So again, even by all of those points that I've just brought up, it still doesn't work. Yes, again, it's the technical speak. Or was he called the first Doctor on set? No, he wasn't, because it was just the Doctor. Regeneration wasn't a thing then. That was only a thing that came after. But throughout Classic Who and throughout Doctor Who sort of folklore, I mean, it literally says the original, you might say. I mean, he's the Doctor. He's, like Noel says, he's literally the first Doctor we see on screen anyway. He's the first actor to ever play the character, so by definition, he's the first. Yes. And even, it's funny, another point actually as well, is if they're really going to go down this little rabbit hole, the argument we were told, when we were all told to accept the Timeless Child and to not criticise it because it was really good, the argument I kept hearing to sort of like pacify us was always saying, okay, you might not be happy with the Timeless Child, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that William Hartnell's now the first Doctor. Because that was what they kept telling me, and that's what they kept telling others. They kept trying, in order to sort of pacify us and to ease our frustrations, I guess. They kept the argument I kept hearing was no, the Timeless Child still doesn't affect that William Hartnell's the first Doctor. Or maybe now they're saying that he is. They're trying to sort of slowly but surely take that sort of role away from it and dilute it, and like they are in every other medium, they're trying to make it less special, because by very nature of having 500,000 people before William Hartnell, that will make it less special. So is that argument now gone as well? Is he now not the first Doctor? I mean, again, like I say, on set he probably wasn't called that. Obviously, it wasn't a thing then.
It was called Bill.
Still establishing the show again. That's context. I mean, these articles, Screen Rant, all of these, digital. I don't even remember the one, the Screen Rant, and there's another one. All of them. I mean, these people are paid writers who are paid to submit. I don't know how it works. I don't know if they get paid per. Well, they'll get paid per article, but I don't know if it's a regular thing. Regular writers, they're employed by Screen Rant, or if they sort of get paid in independent ways, whether they submit something to Screen Rant and then they get their money. I mean, it's bottom of the barrel stuff. It'll be like they'll have a mild curiosity or a mild interest in the lore or into the fandom, and they'll have a varied interest of the show. And they're like, okay, well, there's this one idea that was floated about once, and I've got an old Doctor Who Weekly magazine, issue 7 from 1978, and in this on page 5 it says this about that, and there you go. And then that they take one excerpt, they extract one line of dialogue or one sentence from a page from a Doctor Who magazine 50 years ago, and then there they go. They've got this whole big idea, and that's usually how it is. Or it'll be some crazy nonsense. It's usually how it goes. They'll extract one line of dialogue, one small idea that was maybe floated around one time that then was left, and they'll try and bring that back up and say, oh, well, actually, that one thing, it's typical run of the mill now. Oh, yeah, do you remember that one tiny little idea that the Doctor's had once, maybe, in series 2 of the first William Hartnell, or something 59 years ago that was said is.
Well, the Doctor's half human, yeah,
or something like that effect. It's usually how it goes. Also, let's bring up something that happened 44 years ago, and we'll try and bring it now and see how and try and do some mental gymnastics to try and explain how that now means something for the new era, or Shooty Gatwa is going to have this new problem because something happened this many years ago. It's they get paid by the paid by the word probably, but it's typical run of the mill. It's not even speculative. It's just a lot of the time it's just paid to spew anything out, really.
The shill.
Yeah, but still, I don't like that. Don't be attacking the man who, in my opinion, along with Verity Lambert and Waris Hussein and all those hard people that worked behind the scenes to make this show what it was, to become as successful as it was. Don't tear him down. That's all I'm saying. You don't tear this man down. The bottom line is, as far as I'm concerned, and the majority of Doctor Who fans, and I mean Doctor Who fans, William Hartnell is the Fourth Doctor, always will be. There is no other.
Yeah.
I don't care what canon says now, right? There isn't Doctors before him, right? There isn't, right? That's the bottom line. They could try and fucking dilute it as much as they want, right? Fans are not going to accept that. They didn't accept the Timeless Child, right? They didn't accept it, and Chibnall is gone now, right? So the
Yeah.
Doctor, and even you seen it yourselves though. Even BBC, when you were throwing videos up and you were putting stuff on their YouTube channel, they were calling him the Fourth Doctor, and they were making it a point to call him the Fourth Doctor. So even they themselves are saying he is the Fourth Doctor. They were going against Chibs there, and they actually were going against Chibs there. He is the Fourth Doctor, and always will be, and his memory should be fucking respected. But go on, Super Doctor, you wanted to say something.
I wanted to say something about the Morbius. It's quite simple in the context that the Doctor was having a kind of mind battle with Morbius. So it's basically what we were saying with the faces was the Doctor's trying to kind of throw Morbius off in a way. As he was battling with him, it was an intense mind battle. It was like, because the Doctor's imagination was creating up all those images to kind of, defeat him, and eventually did defeat him in that, and that's what I kind of assumed with it. And anyway, when I seen it, it just wasn't past Doctors. It was just kind of mental images and that, and things that the Doctor was creating in his mind.
PD, what's your thoughts on it?
I'm with Uncle Terrence Dix on this one. God rest his soul. It was they were arm wrestling. They did a Gallifreyan version of arm wrestling. So when the Doctor started winning, you started seeing Morbius's previous lives. And I always stick by that. That's, as I said, Terrence always said that. Or there's the other reason was the Doctor was creating past regenerations that never happened to throw Morbius off. So it's been the case.
That's really it. There's the typical top two answers to that. It's usually it's either the Doctor sort of created them to throw him off. It was it was him supernaturally creating those images, or they actually were in previous incarnations of Morbius. Those are the two genuinely accepted explanations, and they were for a long time. People, obviously fans at the time will have noticed, and in the year since will have discussed it endlessly. And came up with sort of what I call sort of headcanon, which is genuinely drifted by fandom. There's small things you see every now and then where the fandom just creates this sort of its own canon, and then that's just generally accepted. And that was one of those times. And then again, and then no one really bats an eyelid anymore because hang on, Brain and Morbius, it's a good story, but it was over. 1976, 77. It was an old story by that point.
Yeah.
That it was an old controversy that was laid to bed. Fandom had discussed it and debated it, came up with its own headcanon, and that was that. And so we got the Timeless Children, where it all got dredged back up again. And you see a little flash frame, don't you? If you really freeze frame it, you do see them pop up, as if that's supposed to tell us anything. And it gets brought up again and again, and then of course the whole debate kind of came back. It's just, I have to sort of point and laugh, or I have to just point at myself and laugh. It's just a weird attempt. I mean, like I said earlier, people seem to have this notion that Doctor Who canon is so incredibly difficult to follow. I mean, at certain points it can get a little bit muddly and a bit messy. I mean, again, this is a 60-odd-year-old show with multiple comics, Big Finish spin-offs, multiple books, Virgin New Adventures. The Seventh Doctor especially. I mean, on Big Finish, the Seventh Doctor's got 3 different eras. He's got sort of the normal Big Finish, standard sort of Big Finish that ties into the sort of the show, and then you've got the Virgin novels, which then sort of link in with the Big Finish, which then link in with the the TV show, and then it gets muddly because some mixed with us. That's the really, really intricate stuff. That bit, okay, yeah, it's difficult, yeah. But your typical Doctor Who continuity of which Doctor's Who, where does it fall into place? Again, it's largely quite easy. Again, I suppose for most people, they will just, again, I think Noel said this as well, he just sort of takes it from the show. So he probably won't take too much from the show, or it won't take too much from Big Finish, because he's not seen all of it, or not listened to all of it. You know, I think we'd all be in agreement to that. You know, what's the one thing that we could probably agree on? That's the main continuity. That would be the show. That's probably the main one, of course. But it's just, I don't know. I see people all the time. I see, oh, Doctor Who's continuity. It's so messy. Is it? It really is it? I've not had too much trouble with it. There's a few times again, like the Morbius, and there's been other times where you do have to sort of make up your own headcanon slightly. But I honestly, unless someone wants to point me out an example, I generally can't think of a massive, instance of where, that was a really big problem in Doctor Who continuity. That's really difficult for everybody. Even unit dating, that's a simple one. Again, it was a bit of a messy time. Was it in the 70s? Was it in the 80s? Was it Brigadier just misremembering? And there are ways around that. Again, even then, that's probably one of the bigger examples that people tend to cite, is the whole unit dating. And then that's still only a small, it's hardly a big, massive plot hole in a particular storyline or something. It's just, I hear it time and time again. Oh, Doctor Who continuity is so difficult to follow. Again, is it? Because I don't tend to struggle with it. Again, the new someone who's new to the show, and if all you're used to is soaps and EastEnders, and then you start watching Doctor Who one day, then that's quite a big step up, because it's a different way of telling a story. It gets confusing for a new viewer. But if you're tried and tested and you know what you're getting into, it's not really that difficult, to be honest. I don't know where people come up with that stuff.
See, here's the problem and the issue that we have. If the show came back in 2000, when it came back in 2005, it was a kind of a reboot, but it wasn't a proper reboot. See, what RTD should have done is if they found that Classic Who was problematic, which they do, or they did it at least during the Whittaker era, they found it problematic. Well, then what you should have done was when you brought the show back in 2005, you started from the beginning again. You didn't call Eccleston the Ninth Doctor. You call him the Fourth Doctor. You made him the Fourth Doctor. I think listen, would Doctor Who fans be happy with that, right? I don't know, but I don't think you would have the current issue that showrunners seem to have, because Classic Who is so problematic and they want to bring some of these characters, but they might be, the Davros, for example, RTD all of a sudden finds him problematic. Again, if you had a reboot of the show properly and reinvented it, instead of it is a continuation, let's be honest, it kind of is, even though it's a reboot, it's a continuation of the show. Whereas if you had done something completely different with it and maybe put your ideas in from the beginning, we wouldn't have fandom up in the air, because the bottom line is what happened is us classic fans would stick with classic anyway. We wouldn't really be moaning and give it out. It's the fact that when RTD came back, he did such a good job, and then Moffat after him, we actually fell in love with this version of Doctor Who. And this is the issue that they have now today. Well, they shouldn't have an issue really, but it's because of 2020. Well, because of the 2020s. I mean, it's lunacy. Yeah. It's absolute lunacy. Like, you have to have trigger warnings on everything nowadays as well. But look, this. They got
one on the A team on Legend when the show started. Before the show, got a massive trigger warning on it now, and it just makes me laugh.
Exactly, Dave. There as well. I say continuity is hard to follow in recent years. Too many revisions, bad ideas introduced. I agree with you. That's the issue. It's not classic
to my point, because I would say, again, I said earlier, didn't I, that I would believe that Doctor Who isn't actually that hard really to follow. If you're into Doctor Who, if you're a fan of Star Wars, you're a fan of Star Trek, if you're familiar with this sort of sci-fi storytelling and time travel, Doctor Who shouldn't be that difficult. But you know, and
Yeah.
again, we're getting constantly told that again by people who maybe on the other side of the argument. They'll say, "Oh, yeah, but Doctor Who's always had its canon changed." Not always. Maybe in the last couple of years, like David's pointed out,
Yeah.
if anything, in the recent times, in the Georgie era, and everything since, or everything, including the Georgie era and since afterwards, that's when it's actually got muddled. Apart from that,
Yeah.
everything from you know, again in 1963 they were building it up, and they did that over the course of Classic Who. And then from even New Who, from 2005 to around 2017, they built on it and continued it. Again, some small, maybe messy moments along a few bumps in the road, but again, they generally did a good job in continuing it. If anything, when we talk about continuity being ruined or being messy or being all over the place, if anything, if we're going to
It's a New Who.
it's going to be
Yes.
New Who, that's the issue, not Classic Who.
Around with it, because we keep getting getting told that continuity doesn't matter, and yet they say that, but yet they obsess over it. Again,
I would like it to matter, though. That's the thing. As a fan, there are some things that the show have done, you know, that kind of contradicts itself in Classic Who, and does it overall bother me? Not really. As you said, you know, fans kind of use their own head canon then to justify it. But then should a fan like RTD or Chris Chibnall, you know, use their head canon to explain it? I don't think that's right. I think you should just leave it be. I think if it's there, it's there. It hasn't been really an issue up until now because you've made it an issue. That's the thing as well. They've made it an issue. Do you know what I mean? Because fans are okay. Fans are okay with certain things. We let things slide because overall, the quality of the show, the acting, the writing, it was just so much far more superior. I don't care what anybody says, though, but Classic Who was far more superior on every level. I mean, it fucking is. Except, I'll give New Who one thing: the CGI and the special effects trump Classic Who.
Yeah.
But other than that, Classic Who ticks all the boxes.
It's more cerebral.
Right, that New Who doesn't. Right, it's gotten close, New Who, under Moffat and under RTD. I won't lie, there's been a couple of stories there that are up there, but overall, you cannot beat the quality of Classic Who. Don't care, but they've made it all of this an issue, and then it leaves then for Screen Rant, Digital Spy, and all of these other media outlets to go and attack people that we grew up with and loved. Now, I wasn't born when Hartnell was around, right? But I was lucky enough to actually see a lot of Hartnell stuff, you know. And I adore that man. I know he had his faults. We all know. We've all heard the stories.
Yeah.
But without him, we wouldn't be sitting here today. And I just think the total lack of respect from the media towards him and some of these so-called fans absolutely infuriates me. Like, give the man his credit where credit is due. Remember, without this man, you wouldn't have a show to bitch about and fans to actually run out of the fandom. Like, think about it. Without Hartnell, the toxic white male, as you call them, right? Without him, you wouldn't be sitting here bitching and moaning at us today about how we're all misogynistic for not getting behind the female doctor. Do you know what I mean? So show respect to the man. And it goes for you journalists as well. Like, show the man his fucking due respect. Right? A lot of them, listen, when you start making articles like that and you start attacking the show, you're not just attacking Hartnell. You're attacking all the other doctors after him. You're attacking Verity Lambert and everybody that brought that show to the screen and did everything.
See, the problem with that is it's not progressive. You see, the new series is progressive, and that's what appeals to them. You see, classic series does not suit them because it's not got the agenda. It's not got all the stuff that's pushed into the progressiveness. It's basically of a yesteryear. They're not interested in that. The success of that series was all solely all down to William Hartnell and the Daleks as well. You see, they're not interested in anything like that. It's just all about how much they can push an agenda.
I like that comment there. All threads should lead to Hartnell.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree.
Yeah.
All threads should lead to Hartnell. They should.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Brilliant comment, by the way, and welcome. And I see there's another person in here called Farsight as well. Nice to see you. But go ahead. Who was speaking there? Sorry, guys. I just saw that comment and I had to mention it because it's a fucking fair comment. And Dave's comment here as well. 1963 to 2016 is us following an exiled renegade Time Lord from Gallifrey roaming the universe. A simple idea. 2017 onwards is not so simple. Absolutely. And that's where they've gone wrong. They've actually gone wrong. There's nothing wrong with this show. There was nothing wrong with the premise of this show either. Nothing needed to change. The only thing that needed to change was better quality writers and actors and actresses. That was it.
Yep.
Yeah. Just not getting it
They're
anymore.
not looking at it in the same, but they don't look at it. Some people just don't look at it in the same way we do. Again, before even coming in here, I saw a little tweet earlier that was saying that we can't have. They were literally saying, "Oh, can we not have a white master?" Because the optics of Shooty calling it a white man master would just be so terrible. And I thought, well, yeah, if that's how you're thinking about it, if you can look at it from a slavery and a black man being submissive to a man, if that's how you're looking at it, then that's a bit weird because that wasn't what my first thought was, and it clearly wasn't the first thought of other people as well. Because I looked at the comments and I saw people going, "Oh, I didn't think of that." Well, yeah, because you didn't think of it because you're not a weirdo. Because you're not someone who just instantly jumps to that point. He's called the master.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. It's only when even with these fucking loonies, though, it's only when it's presented to them as well. They go, "Oh yeah, never thought of that," and then they want to see it happen. Like they don't. Oh, go on.
And this is what I mean. And then I saw a quote tweet to that, and it was, I don't know exactly the wording, but it was to the point of, well, if Shooty's an actor, I mean, he's going to break down in a ball of tears, sheer not having to call a white actor a master, because that's the character's name. That's been there for decades before Shooty was even born. If so, then he's probably in the wrong profession. But it's that point. It was somebody made it. It was a good point, but it was just like, can we not just try and can we let Shooty have his own opinion? Maybe Shooty's fine with this actually. Maybe Shooty, is a professional actor who will not mind calling a white actor a master because that's the title of the character. Shooty, I would like to think, again, we don't always agree with everything he said, but he's a fully grown man. I'm sure he's more than capable of calling an actor or calling a character his respective title. The sort of like protected.
Yeah, they seem to get offended for him.
Of like, we've got to coddle him. We've got to sort of wrap him in cotton wool. We couldn't possibly have to. We couldn't possibly. Could we?
I mean, do they not realise he is, as you said, he's a professional actor? Like, if he's asked to play, he's not going to check. Listen, if he wanted to play the role traditionally, right, then he'd want the characters to be traditional. So this is not even an issue. I think he would have no problem of calling the master, even though he's a black doctor, because that's the character's fucking name. Like, these kids just make such a big deal. Oh no, look, they're making a black man call the white man master. Oh, racist.
And the funny thing was that the person who put the original tweet wasn't even like from Western world. I think he said he was not from the Western world, and he had to sort of. He said, I think he even said himself he had to check himself to sort of adopt a Western view. And I thought, well, okay, you're wrong there for a start. That's just not how all Western people think, and that's all nutters like that. I mean, again, who sits there and thinks? I mean, people who've got too much time on their hands and spend too much time on Twitter. But it was, again, the comment in response to that, the quote tweet, basically said, well, if Shooty's got a problem, then he will say it. It'll be Shooty that decides what to do with it, not Twitter users. But again, that's a Twitter users assemble. Let's wrap Shooty in cotton wool because he couldn't possibly call a white actor the name of an established character. Again, I look at that, and again, I see the comments of other people going, "Oh yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Of course you didn't. Of course you didn't think of it because that's not your go-to thought. Why should everything Why does every decision have to be viewed in a way that would be negative to the actors, or viewed in a way that would be so controversial? We can't do that because it'll look bad. Like, no, it's a show, it's a TV show, it's not real. Shooty isn't going to go away. Again, let's be honest. Shooty's not going to go away from having, if Shooty's on set and he goes away after a hard day's work acting, although hard day's work, would you call that hard day's work? I don't know, but he's got a nice job. Shooty isn't going to be caught off to the poorhouse or anything. He's well off. He's a well off guy now. He's earning a very considerable wage. There, he's a lot more well off than he was a few years ago. Shooty will be fine. He won't be going home crying himself to sleep because he had to call someone the name of a character. He'll be okay. It's like the same thing with footballers. No, we can't criticize footballers now. Well, I'm sure they won't care when they're going home with 70 grand at the end of the week for kicking a bag of air. Yeah. They'll be fine. I think Shooty will be okay. I think he will manage being able to having to call.
Because they're not as fragile as these morons. But I agree with Dave here. I've been saying it on this channel for a while now. It does need a reset. It needs to get back to basics. And you're right, it needs to lose all the baggage. And it has been poor decisions of the last 8 years that has brought this show to its knees. Nothing else. It's not our fault as fans. If they give us something of quality to watch, we'll watch it. They haven't. So they need to start looking at themselves rather than blaming everybody else, like Disney, Star Wars do, and everybody else, right? These creators, they keep blaming the fans. No, you're responsible.
True.
You're responsible. You've brought this show to its knees. Nobody else. If you gave us something worth watching, we'd watch. We're Doctor Who fans. That's all we want. We want good quality Doctor Who and leave the fucking nonsense out, because not all of us subscribe to your nonsense, RTD, anyway, right? Or subscribe to Chris Chibnall's nonsense. All right? We're not saying we're not all for equal rights and all of this other fucking stuff that just keep banging on about. Yeah, but there's a way of doing it. Right, you don't hammer your message across using a science fiction show to do it. Right, RTD is a talented writer. Why don't you just make a show on all of that like you did a few years back? Don't be using Doctor as a platform for your rubbish. Right, Alex Kurtz did the same with Star Trek, and look at the state that franchise is in. This all needs. But here, is there any last comments on this, lads? Because I do want to move on to the stupid rumors that we're going to be having a laugh about. But there is one particular rumor of someone being deleted from the universe, which we will get into. But I see Rob is there, Sally is there. Just want to give a few mentions there. Faddy, I hope I'm saying that right, in the chat, and Far Sight in the chat also there. Welcome. Leland, I saw, and I did actually see, as I said, Dave is there, Rob, and Laura Thought is in the chat as well. Welcome. Is there anything else, lads, that you want any final thoughts on this?
Yeah, I got some final thoughts.
Come on.
If the script editor says that they were either bloody what's his name, Morbius is, or it was a type of wrestling, I'm going with him. Because Terrence Dick is the one who came up with the term regeneration.
Yeah,
that's all I'm going to say. I mean, these people just don't. They pretend they know everything. They blame everybody else for their stupid mistakes and pretend they know everything and they're better. I think it's a sign of mental illness, and it's quite frankly.
Mentally ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen. There is, of course, there is, because there's a mental health crisis everywhere. That's like the truth. It's off the scale. Anyway, let's get into this, right? So, just to start off, these are my leaks, right? I'll say what the person said that shared them. These are my leaks, just leaks that he found on various sites, including Gallifrey base. And as I said, it was first reported. I think it might have been him that got the rumors. I'm not too sure, but I will give him a shout out because he obviously covered it on his channel. The confused Abby post broke this. Well, that's the first YouTube video I saw. I know I'm not subscribed. It just happened to be sent to me because people still send me stuff all the time. Which is great. I say I'm not having that to do with Doctor Who fandom, and over the months of being getting sent loads and loads and loads of stuff, and I've just ignored it. But now that I'm obviously back now, I'm doing it again. So let's get into this. So these are all on multiple sites. These are not my rumors, right? Again, for stupid people out there, I'm not saying it's fact either. Okay, it's not fact, right? It's rumor. Know the difference. Anyway, here we go. Okay, so the latest leaks are this. Ruby won't be traveling with the Doctor for the majority of the season. She'll appear throughout working with Unit. Well, that's not a rumor because we were already told that Ruby was actually... so I'm going to break these down, by the way, and then I'll get user opinion. This isn't a rumor. This is actual fact. We know that because another companion's being brought in. Millie has other stuff going on, and she will appear in season 2. But absolutely, this is not a rumor. So that's one we can already debunk as a rumor. It's not a rumor because it's already news and it's already out there. Including a Dr. Light episode where she will be working with Unit. Yeah, we know that. There's been Dr. Light episodes again. That's nothing new. She and the Doctor will reunite in the finale. However, again, that's not actually hard to figure out. It's not a rumor. Of course, she's going to be in the last episode of season 2. Of course, she's going to be in the finale. Like, I mean, do these people actually think we're tick?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
The series will include one return of monster, but no Daleks or no Cybermen. Well, we know that because Charlotte was on a couple of weeks ago and she spoke about the fact that RTD was saying that people were moaning that there were no villains, classic villains in Doctor Who, and that he was going to bring them back for the second season. So again, that's not a rumor. That has already been put out there. So again, bullshit. Let me see. Series 15 will continue to lean into fantasy. Well, we knew that already because again, himself said that he was going down that route. So again, that's not really a rumor. So we've been 1, 2, 3, 4 rumors in so far, and already you've given us absolutely nothing of substance. Episode will take place in the 1950s Miami and will focus on the paranormal. Well, we did see the photographs of Miami set just recently. So again, that's not rumor. You're actually just speculating on the fact that, like, you've seen the photograph, so you put 2 and 2 together and you put that up as a rumor. It's not a rumor. We do know that you were going back to America in the 1950s. So again, bullshit from whoever put this up. Let me see. We will get an episode that takes place mostly in the TARDIS. Well, I mean, it's a big TARDIS, of course. That's why they built the set. Of course, we're going to have an episode on it. So again, that's not really a big stretch, but I'll give you that one. I mean, it's not really the biggest fucking rumor, but go on. Murray Gold wrote an original song for the scene that takes place during a concert on an alien planet. Well, he is the composer of Doctor Who, and he's already done some original music for the new series. So again, that's not a rumor. He is the composer. So to even actually bring that out as a rumor and say it's a rumor is absolutely, I mean, what is this? I mean, I'm laughing right now. I'm laughing right now because this is so funny. Jonah Hare King, or whatever the fuck his name is, will be playing Mrs. Flood's grandson. Again, we do know that Mrs. Flood's story is not, and there was mention of relatives actually showing up in the second season. Again, I can't really give you that one as a rumor because, like, it's already information that's kind of out there. You know, you don't have to be actually Sherlock Holmes to put together that Mrs. Flood actually has a fucking family. Actually, the rumor is that the master might be involved. There you go. So, like, I mean, you know, this is nothing, right? Let me see. Mrs. Flood will be the central antagonist of the finale. It will involve her reshaping time and trapping the Doctor. Well, we do know that she was something, but I mean, she's the main villain of the finale. I doubt it very much that Mrs. Flood is the main villain of the finale. Come on. Anyway, we'll give you that one. It's a bit of a shit rumor, but go on. Mel will die in the finale. Well, she won't be a loss. To be quite honest with you, Mel, for a lot of Doctor Who fans, is a bit, a bit like Adric. But do I think he'll kill off Mel? Absolutely not. Because Mel apparently is going to be in the. Why would they kill her off? She's going to be in the she's going to feature in a spin-off later on. If the show manages to survive. Remember, there's not just one spin-off on the way. There's more spin-offs, right? If this gets renewed, and it's all if right now. So Mel will die. I'll ask you how you all feel about that now in a minute. Sacrificing herself to save Ruby and Belinda is the other companion. So she'll save the two female companions. This will leave the Doctor wanting to somehow distance himself from humanity. Oh, let me see. That reminds me of Matt Smith's Doctor. This isn't a fucking rumor. You're just fucking making on any old shut up. Come here for a minute. The whole point of the regeneration or the boy generation or whatever the fuck you want to call it, right, was that Shooty's Doctor was going to get away from all the baggage. David Tennant's Doctor was the last one with all the baggage of Time War and all this, losing companions and all this. And you tell me after he loses Mel, that he's just going to kick it. So that it just goes to show you then that Shooty's Doctor is weak ass, then, right? Because he just has to lose one person and that's it. He withdraws from humanity. The Doctor's lost millions of people at this fucking stage. Will he get away?
Yeah.
So he'll distance himself from humanity, fearing he puts too many people in danger. Well, we've seen this all before. With the Doctor being out of reach during the events of the war between the land and the sea, it will be revealed that the Master is now a prisoner of Una, and he will be forced to help with the Sea Devil situation, finally giving him a chance to be a hero, kind of similar to Loki. The Master played by Russell Tovey, and there's a scientist activist that will be siding with the Sea Devils called
They're going to sort of retcon Alonso as the Master now, but he was there for the whole time, from Voyage of the Damned to chatting up Captain.
Oh yeah.
So these are the so-called rumours. Now, you have my opinion on it. It's clear that half of these are not even rumours. But I do want to get your take on the Mrs. Flood possibly being the antagonist. Talking about the Master being a hero and Mel passing away. What do you think? Do you think horse shit like me? Or do you think there's a possibility of any of this rubbish happening? I'll ask Real Super Doctor first, and then I'll get to you, Cinnamon.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised because of the amount of rubbish that Russell T Davies comes up with.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Mel dying. I mean, what kind of impact is it going to have in new viewers? I mean, a lot of new viewers wouldn't know who Mel was. It's just the classic series fans like ourselves. I mean, it just sounds like a load of drivel. Mrs. Flood being the antagonist. Well, I was thinking that she was actually the Rani to begin with, but
the Queen, yeah.
Yeah, but just
I know that was
and
kind
then
of shit answer, but I prefer that.
Yeah, and then the outfit she wore at the end, it's very similar to Romana 1's outfit in the Reboss operation. But
I don't think they're going to kill her off, because I'll tell you why.
No.
They've reintroduced her into the show, right? And she's actually done well. I actually preferred this version of Mel than I did when she was actually on the show, when it was still on TV and I was watching, right? So I do like this version of her. But why would you go through all the hassle of RTD reintroducing her after Chibs had already obviously brought her back. But why would you bring her back if you were just going to then kill her off?
Oh, it's RTD.
Yeah, but
Right.
John is right. John is right. Even for us, it wouldn't have an impact, though.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have that. It wouldn't have an impact because we're not emotionally invested in her yet. You know what I mean? Like, we might have had some emotional attachment to her back in the day, right?
Yeah.
But she's only being reintroduced. You don't just fall in love with these characters. You know what I mean? And she's slightly different as well. So there's not.
Yeah.
I don't have. Listen, I didn't like our version back in the day. I prefer this version. But right now, I'm not at a point where if she was killed off, I'd be like devastated. You've got to get me to that point before you fucking kill her off. Like, if you're going to do that, you've got to play on fans' emotions. If you're going to do it properly.
Yeah.
You have to. If you want to make fans cry, right, on the companion's deck, make them fucking cry. But don't half-ass it. You know, you got to put the time and the effort into it.
It just sounds to me like RTD is making so many mistakes with this show. It's unbelievable. I mean, with the bi-generation, I mean, none of the fans were accepting that anyway. It's just like you have a new Doctor, and basically it's been Doctorless Light in some episodes, and basically the character hasn't been there. The character is like a totally different character. I mean, we all know the Doctor from every incarnation that's has been asexual, and I mean, all of a sudden, and you get this episode Rogue, which really infuriates me because it's totally not the Doctor. The Doctor wouldn't do anything like that, and I mean, for 2,000 years, you're supposed to believe that this character that just automatically just gets a love interest. I mean, I don't buy that. I don't buy it. I mean, and all the musicals and all that, and musical scenes and all that, I just, well, and Space Babies as well, and
that episode still makes me laugh. It doesn't even make me angry. I just laughed when I watched that one. I did not watch along. I was just when the baby opened its mouth, but it wasn't in sync with the talking. I was just I use past it. You can't even get the baby's mouth to sync properly. What is that? It was so funny.
Expressions on their face. This is hilarious.
Do you know what?
I just could not believe
real damage, but it's at least with RTD, he makes you laugh with his stupidity. He made me laugh at that episode. I have to say.
I just could not actually believe that they went out with that episode. You know, I was like the first few minutes into it, and that I was like getting invested into Shooty's Doctor, and I was thinking, oh, he's going to be the Doctor. He's going to be, you know, Millie and Shooty had chemistry together in the first couple of scenes.
15
and all that.
minutes, first 15 minutes of that episode was actually decent. And I thought,
that's what I'm saying.
Because the Space Babies, we were laughing. That's a horrible title. And the first 15 minutes, I was like, oh, maybe he's tricking us here. Maybe it's not going to be the shit show that I think it is. But after 15 minutes, as soon as the babies come into it, that's it. It's game over.
It completely fell apart there and then. And I thought, oh my God, how bad is this going to be? And I mean, and it was like the baby farts and that and everything like that, and the accumulated bogies created this monster, the Bogeyman, and I thought, oh my God, Russell T Davies has really lost it, and I thought that you know that there's no hope for this show, this new season. I mean, completely the way they've written Shooty as well on that, and you know. You're really not going to get. We really don't know what kind of Doctor we would have got with Shooty if you know it's RTD. It's letting them down.
Can we actually course correct?
Well, when I said that on Twitter and a Twitter post that RTD is going to look back at the Tennant incarnation and like this split off, this bi-generation, wasn't a real regeneration at all. Like, it just kind of split off from the Doctor, and like the actual Doctor is David Tennant, and he's still about there.
Here's one. I've been thinking of this though, and I'm not saying this was RTD's thinking, but was his thinking with the boy generation thing that if it did go wrong with Shooty, right, you could just kill Shooty off. Tennant is already there, and then obviously then you're gonna kill him off, so he regenerates into a new Doctor. But you bring him back now. Tennant said he's done with Doctor Who, and I wouldn't say that's completely true.
So he should be.
But he should be after the way he's been going on. I have to say, but he won't be. But do you think that could have been part of the thinking here? The show's not doing too well now. I'm the blame. RTD's the blame. Right? But I'll use Shooty as the scapegoat. And then
it does look like that. It does look like that. But when you look at it like that way, when he caused the split off and not the proper regeneration, I mean, if we look at it this way, the 15th Doctor has not been in character. The 15th Doctor's done stuff that the original Doctors wouldn't do. Because from classic series onwards and from the new series up until Jodie, up until the 14th Doctor, it's been totally out of character, totally out of whack. It's like a different character. It's not what the Doctor would do. The Doctor would not go up to a person and say like they love them and all that and want to smooch with them and all that. That's just not the Doctor.
Yeah.
It's a big red flag, and I think RTD's doing this, and he's cleverly doing it. I'll say cleverly done it because I don't think it's really clever. I think he's created another character from that is not exactly the Doctor, but imposing as the Doctor. But when the Tennant incarnation comes back, the Tennant incarnation will tell him straight to him, "You're not the Doctor." And it will be like, we could only hope that, and what would probably revealed is that this incarnation would been like a kind of cast off, like every kind of dark thought, everything the negative the Doctor felt kind of manifested into this Shooty incarnation. And like this Shooty incarnation is also dark as well. Like he's the dark side of the Doctor as well. Like, or maybe it's the way that Russell T Davies is writing the Valeyard.
Good point. Yeah,
and this could be the Valeyard, and because he probably doesn't have the powers to regenerate, and the 14th Doctor has all the powers to regenerate. And that this incarnation wants the powers to regenerate.
Yeah.
And he wants to kind of steal it off him. But my first initial theory was that this was all a trick by the toy maker, and it wasn't an incarnation at all.
Yeah. That would have made more sense, wouldn't it? But he's not using these. That would have been clever. To trick the fucking toy maker. Do you know what I mean? That would have been. We would have actually prayed. Holy shit, we didn't see that coming. But he doesn't. I don't think he has it when it comes to Doctor Who anymore. I just think. No. Listen, when RTD said he was done with Doctor Who and he was burnt out and he never come back to the show, he should have stuck to that promise. He was absolutely right. It didn't matter about the amount of time that he took away from the show. He just hasn't got it anymore. And I'm sorry, with Doctor Who, he doesn't. I'm not saying he can't go out there and create an award-winning show, right?
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that with Doctor Who, he is done. I don't think he actually knows what he's doing. That's what the thing is.
The thing is with Russell, he could actually turn that around, and he could make that a success with Disney.
Yeah.
It's like there was this big finish event with Paul McGann and India Fisher. Now, Paul McGann coming out his original TARDIS police box, his original one that appeared in the movie, and he was in costume and all that. And I thought, if they went back to that incarnation and wrote an entire series with Paul McGann and give him a chance again, it would mend the damage with the fandom, but it would also bring in a new audience because they haven't seen this
but
this style of show before.
But you know what? I would have agreed with you because you were on this panel plenty of times when we actually spoke about a McGann spin-off. But I've had time to think about it. And the way I look at it now is, though, if you were to do a Paul McGann spin-off, obviously it'd be Doctor Who, but it'd be different because it's Paul McGann. You'd make it obviously a bit darker, wouldn't you? You'd have to. To distinguish it from the main show. But still, you're kind of admitting defeat with the main show if you have to bring back, Paul McGann and giving me his own spin-off. What I would rather see is, do you remember that? Do you remember the 50th anniversary? There was a line in that, maybe I'll revisit some of the old faces, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what should happen, right? They should do every season, bring back a doctor that's willing to come back, that they can bring back successfully and make it work. And that's how you do it. Right, I wouldn't.
They don't need to keep an entire series with one doctor. They can actually do like a series with David Tennant, a series with Matt Smith.
Imagine having a 5 doctors. Imagine having a 5 doctor type, mini series, right?
Yeah.
And stretch it over 12 episodes or 6 episodes, 8 episodes, whatever, an hour each, right?
Yeah.
And you have, as you said yourself, right, maybe in the first 2 episodes, you kind of reintroduce all the doctors, right?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the episodes then focus on them all. Then, whatever parts of time that they're in, then they come together right at the end, whatever. You know what I mean? But you do something like if you wanted to kind of, try win fans back that way, you could try something like that. But bottom line is that if you don't do that, then you have to reboot. So you have to. Or put it on hiatus. But I don't think, look, again, I used to say just put the show on hiatus, it's burnt out. It's not. If you think about the last 8 years, though, as David brought up earlier on, all it is, it's been bad decisions by the showrunners. That's it. It's the only reason why it's felt a bit, but they actually gave us a decent episode of Doctor Who. You're telling me that fans wouldn't tune in? Of course they would. We would all tune in if it was great. Do you know? So I don't think it's burned out. I just think it needs tender loving care, which it's not going to get under RTD. Now, maybe lessons have been learned because Queen Charlotte has brought up. She's not here, but we will mention Queen Charlotte. But Queen Charlotte did mention the fact that he has reference to the fact that fans were unhappy, and he did reference the fact that he was going to do things and introduce classic villains or older villains that we know into his second season. So, maybe, hopefully, he learns his lesson, but then when I kind of see what's coming up and I hear about more musical, there will be more musical numbers anyway, and then we all knew it was leaning into fantasy anyway, so that rumor that's leaning more into fantasy, we said it was more fantasy. You don't need, that's not a rumor, stop it, leave it out.
Yeah.
If you're going to do rumors or fake rumors, right, at least, make them sound plausible, all right, is what I'd say to you. If you're going to make stuff up and throw them up onto different sites and then report on them,
Well,
we see over the years, a few people.
A lot of them aren't even really rumours. Again, a lot of this is just common sense and stuff we already know. Again, I'll just quickly try and go through them. Ruby will be coming with the Doctor for the majority of the season. We already know this. Yeah. The series will include one returning monster, but no dice. That again, to be expected. That's hardly like groundbreaking. Okay, probably could expect at least one.
It's probably the Silurians or the Sea Devils as well.
We'll continue seeing into fantasy. I mean, again, we've already seen.
Well, it's the Sea Devils. Hold on, Cinnamon.
Yeah, we
it
just
is
said
the
it.
Sea Devils. Of course it is. If they're going to do a spin-off.
Yeah,
it's the
exactly.
Sea Devils. The classic villain that's coming back is Sea Devils. Of course, it's fucking obvious. Like, these people are fucking stupid. Go on, Cinnamon, anyway.
Episode 2 took place in 1950s Miami with a focus on paranormal. I mean, again, we
Yeah,
also
I've
knew
seen
a
clips
lot
of
of that. I mean, okay,
We see the
Screenshots.
photographs, for fuck's sake. We see the interview with the new Belinda, and she was
That's
on
it.
fucking set. Fuck it.
They're dressed in
Yeah.
1950s costume in a very hot-looking country, so that's Miami.
we'll get an episode that takes place most in the TARDIS. Now that I suppose is new, but even then, I mean, the old Doctor Who adventure games. That was the one with Matt Smith on. I mean, that
Matt Smith also did an episode called Journey to the Center of the
those
TARDIS.
took place in
Yeah.
the TARDIS. So it's an idea, which
Yeah.
you know, we also Journey to the Center of the TARDIS. So it's been,
Yeah, there you go.
you know, an idea. So I'll give them that one. That one's fairly new, I think. I think we can give them that.
Well, I mean, it's not really. The TARDIS fucking set is huge. Of course, you're not going to waste that with just having them running around in it once in a while. Of course, they're going to explore the TARDIS or fucking Sunstay. Come on.
This one makes me laugh, though. Murray Gold wrote a new original song for a scene that takes place during a concept on it. Yeah, okay, yeah. But that's okay, Russell. That's his job, though. Like, I'm sorry, am I missing something? Murray Gold writing music. Why is that like a surprise? Like, that's literally his job.
It's not even a
Really
rumor.
for the first season, you know?
It's not
Seriously.
even a rumor. It's stupid. Will you stop? I'm not talking to you, Cinnamon. I'm talking to the people that made this shit up. Will you
The
leave
next
it out?
Doctor
For
might be a man or a
of course, he's going to write new original fucking music.
I know.
Done. I mean, if you care about Mrs. Flood, then you probably do care about that. I mean, I'm not.
I mean, I like Mrs. Flood. I do think there's more to her, but don't make her the main antagonist. I think that's fucking stupid, really.
Well, that's literally the next one. She'll be the central antagonist. I mean, okay. I mean, I'm not to sort of dig on old ladies, but I mean, is that the best we can do? I mean, okay. Is she going to be all powerful? Something she shifted.
Can she bring her husband with her?
Unless she's someone, she might look like a little old lady, but she might transform into something. Do you know what I mean? So that's the way to say. But this is blood. Come on, I like the old lady, but for fuck's sake, man.
Mel will die in the finale, sacrificing herself to Senator. I mean, that's probably the most out there. I mean, again, they brought back Mel for the simple purpose of trying to fix her character. And I even said at the time after the 60th, I thought, well, has she been fixed? Like, I don't know, like she was barely there and she didn't do too much. She wasn't massively like, okay, she was. I think I would agree she's more human and she's more like a real person. That doesn't necessarily mean she's a better character, though. Okay,
she'll be only killed off. Look, she'll be only killed off if the actress herself wants to be killed off. But but ask yourself this question, right? Would she really want that character killed off? She still goes to Comic-Cons and all of this. Now, I'm not saying it would affect her that down to Comic-Cons. You know, even, you know, the fella that plays Adric has turned up at Comic-Cons and all that. People love him.
Yeah.
Like, but that's not the point. Why make all the effort of bringing her back? And Cinnamon is right. I mean, if you kind of analyze what she did in the show, she hasn't done that much, but I do like the fact that he has slightly changed her character. She's not as annoying as she was in the 80s. She's actually, like, you know, intelligent. We got to see Mel's intelligence. That's the thing. And I don't mind that. But you bring her back, you build her up, and now you're just going to kill it now. I'm not buying that one. I mean, that is you are right about that rumor. That one, out of them all, is probably, if I was to be honest, is the most plausible one because it could happen. Like, even if I'm saying it shouldn't happen, it could happen. But at the end of the day, I just don't see it happening. I mean, is that what you're going to do now? You're going to start bringing back old companions, giving them a bit of airtime and then murdering them?
Yeah.
What we're going to do?
Yeah.
Is he going to do a Star Wars, actually? Oh, that's what he's going to do. He's going to do a Luke Skywalker. He's gonna kill them all off. He's gonna bring them all back one by one. They'll all drop. Come on, Cinnamon.
The next one again, being linked to the Mel. You know, the Doctor being out of the Doctor distancing himself being out of reach during the events of, he's essentially distancing himself, not bothering with humanity anymore. That's all.
Well, we saw that already with Matt Smith's
in the
Doctor
Moffat era,
Clara.
the 11th Doctor retired and said he didn't want to do anything anymore. We had it again briefly, I guess, to an extent, with the 10th Doctor when he went through a sort of teenage grunge depressive phase after Donna, and he didn't want to carry any more companions. He was still traveling, but he distanced himself. It was just him on his own for a while. Literally, Matt Smith, in the first episode, he said, when talking to him, he's like, "Yeah, I've been on my own for a bit. Give myself a earache." So that's an old idea. I mean, to be honest, while the Doctor sort of having a bit of self-doubt for a moment, that's not particularly groundbreaking. The Master will be played by Russell Tovey. I mean, again, like I said earlier, what is he going to sort of retcon that Alonso was secretly another Master all along?
Hang on. Yeah, I forgot to bring this up, actually. I'm sorry, but I'd just like to remind RTD that the Master right now is Sacha Dhawan. I know that not many people liked Sacha Dhawan's Master, but I did. Right, so sorry, RTD, I have to interject there. You mean to tell me after, Chibs making a big deal of casting Sacha Dhawan that you're just going to, push him to the side now? I'm sorry, but again, Russell Tovey he's a good actor, don't get me wrong, but him playing the Master, I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't think I'm going to say something controversial here. He doesn't seem old enough to me to play the Master. I always, for some weird reason, the Doctor can be young, right? We've seen with Smith, right? But I don't know, for some weird reason, I've always wanted to be Master could be older looking than the Doctor, if you get what I'm saying. Or, near enough fucking looking the same age. But no, I think Russell Tovey is too young. He's has a baby face, for fuck's sake, like me. Leave it out.
It's like it could be like he's not the Master at all. That he is another incarnation of the Doctor. He could have regenerated from Tennant.
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to Russell Tovey being the Doctor, would you?
It's like
not the Master.
No.
I wouldn't give him the Master, but if he was there, he's a good actor, by the way. I just want to make that clear. I think he's a fucking terrific actor. I mean, I know he wasn't Voyage of the Damned, he wasn't in it that much, but the parts that he was in were great. But
I've seen him
in other stuff, and he's a fucking brilliant actor, like.
Just think about it. He's a Master. Alonso's a Master. Then he got banged by freaking Jack Hartnell.
That would be some head canon. How you could even describe it.
He certainly did get some head canon.
I mean, even the last one, of course, here. Gugu, if I'm even saying that right, Mabartha Raw will play a scientist / activist siding with. I mean, who gives a shit? I mean, honestly, I couldn't care less. I've just seen a tweet there about the thinking, so let me just read out actually what he said. He's just said how awfully embarrassing and desperate to release highlights of one of the worst Doctor episodes ever, just to get likes, or who the F knows. Nobody in their right mind would sit through that just again, even if they were paid £6, or even if they were paid 6 days up and only thought. Well, yeah. So it's essential bit of the tweet says it's been up for 6 days and it's only got 466 likes, and it's been seen by 12,000 people. So 12.9 thousand people have seen it. 467 likes, 124 dislikes. So still more likes, but it's just. And they keep trying. They keep promoting the new era quite a lot, actually, and I think I've seen a bit of criticism.
New dire era.
They seem quite hell bent on tweeting and like random tweets that it'll just be a random tweet about one particular frame or a scene, and it'll have like a little attached caption to it, and it's like, okay, it's random. Does the BBC? Does the admin need to put out a tweet a day just so we can get paid? It's just a random tweet. Yet, like stuff like anything to do with the classic era. Of course, yes, it's the most recent season, so yeah, okay, I get they're going to talk about it more. but like, it seems like classic Who seems to get forgotten, and not even probably that, just New Who in general. I think it's all about the new season. A lot of the time, it's the previous eras aren't really represented. Within reason, of course, the McGann thing is getting a little bit of traction because of that happened. But just a small observation. But yeah, it's just a lot of those. Like I said, all them points that I just read out on the list. Quickly give a quick analysis of them. Most of them are just, again, common sense. Oh well, Murray Gold is doing what he's supposed to do and make music.
Doing his job.
Shock horror. I mean, yeah, Murray Gold making music. I mean, never.
Oh my god! No, hit him.
Okay, maybe. Again, the most wild ones. Okay, Sister's got a grandson. Where's her child? I mean, I don't know. I don't really care. To be honest, the whole thing about who Ruby's mother was interesting for 5 minutes, and then
well, it went nowhere. Let's be honest.
The whole thing about Mrs. Flood, to be honest, who was she? To be honest, that also kind of died a death. I kind of give up. I was kind of interested for the first couple of episodes, and then you saw her again, but you never saw her enough. You saw her in the Christmas episode, and we saw her briefly in Space Babies for that opening scene, and then we didn't actually see her again up until 73 yards, and even then it was only for a brief scene. So how can we get invested in a character that's barely there? And who's Mrs. Flood? And then, okay, right at the end, she sends an ominous message about the Doctor, and it's like, okay, I'm not really that bothered anymore. I think that how negative I was feeling about the whole Ruby thing. I thought, well, if that's the conclusion we get to that, I'd hate to think what we get with the whole Mrs. Flood thing. So again, I just sat there thinking, well, I'm not really bothered now, to be honest. so again, okay, she's got a grandson. Who cares? And just other things, other bullet points pointing out simple and obvious things that we've already been told, things that you could probably easily guess. Something like along those lines. It's just, it is what it is. Nothing. Again, even boring ideas. I mean, how many times does the Doctor have to sort of like experience a sort of tragedy and think, oh, maybe am I a bad person?
He doesn't. He doesn't though. But they think that he does because they don't know, because they just don't know what they're doing. I mean, they didn't do that They didn't do that in Classic Who. It just seems to be a thing with New Who that either a companion has to die or has to be like, it's just so simple to fix, man. None of this is even hard, man.
I know.
It's so fun. And listen, I'm no writer or expert, man, but if I was in charge of Doctor Who, right, I just want the right people in charge. That's it. That's all I have to do. Right, it's not even that hard. I could get Ted to fucking do it for me. I'll say, bark at the person that you think is the right person to lead the show. Right? Okay, he's hired. Done. Fucking hell, man. It's not... And whoever's putting out those so-called rumours, listen, you clown. Right? Get a job. All right? Because you can't even put out decent fucking rumours. That is just laughable. This is why I actually call this shit out, right? Because you have YouTubers then wasting their time, reporting on them and saying, oh, this could make it big theories, right? The bottom line is this, right, is that the majority of that stuff that we've read out tonight is already out there in public, right? The only thing that's not is the whole Mel is being killed off, maybe, and as Cinnamon said, but I don't think it's much of a stretch. The whole thing, a whole episode in the TARDIS.
Predict the character gets killed off. Like, that's such an easy thing to predict. It's again, it's hardly, I've really uncovered something. I think I've worked it out. How many TV shows out there where people predict, oh, he's going to die? I mean, that's literally EastEnders, isn't it? Who's dying this week?
Yeah.
Other stuff we already know, or stuff that can be very easily guessed.
We've been doing this 7-8 years now. 8 years, I think, coming up in November. I think it is, or it's October, right? We've been doing this eight years now. John's been on the panel over those years, right? We've covered Rumours on Reddit, Gallifrey Base and 4chan, and we've actually, like, you know, told people, of course, that that's where these are. But these have to be the most ridiculous ones that I've actually came across. And the most terrible. They don't even seem to be making an effort anymore. I remember Rumours back in the day that were found on Reddit, and we'd even say they sound plausible, right? But then you'd find they put up another rumour somewhere else, and it would have different details, and it'd be slightly, and we'd compare them and all. We used to do that on here. Compare the. Listen, these are they're not even making an effort now. They're not even making an effort now.
No.
Look, the bottom line is this, right? Season 2 is coming. We know that. The Christmas special before it, season 2. We'll find out what happens. I honestly am not really excited, but I'll watch. But I mean, do I give a fuck if there's classic villains? Do I give a fuck if he kills off anybody? Do I give a fuck if Murray Gold wrote an original song, which is probably the most stupid of all of the Rumours? By the way, if you don't know what a composer does when you're making up Rumours, then you shouldn't be making up Rumours. Now, all right, a composer, that's his fucking job, to compose new music, and he has in the 4th season and come up with original songs as well. So I don't know where you're getting all of this bullshit. But the Mel one bother me a little bit, for the simple fact is you've reintroduced her, Chibs reintroduced her, you know, and then obviously RTD brought her back, which meant, I suppose, to a lot of fans out there, that he was actually going to do something with her character, right? Now, while he has changed some facets of her character, she hasn't been given much to do in the show. Now, to bring her back and to kill her off,
I think she'd be ruined, if anything. You know, again, the whole point of the old intention, it was, you know, arguably out of all the classic companions in classic Who, often regarded as the weakest. So to bring her back, and she kind of, I've said this myself, and I don't know if I'm just the only one here, but she's just kind of a bit, I kind of feel sorry for her. She's kind of a bit, with all due respect, a bit pathetic. You know, she's, you know, I think, you know, kind of left, she had adventures on with Sablon Glitz, and they could have left it like that, but they kind of made her like feel sorry for herself. And I've mentioned this before, that she sort of left feeling sorry for herself, and I suppose it's realistic to a point, because, you know, what we think about, you know, we don't always see what happens to companions after they leave. But obviously she's travelled around with Sablon, and then when she finally returned to Earth, she's realised, oh yeah, all these years have passed. I've not laid down any roots. I've got no family. She's got no family left. She didn't have any family of her own, I don't think. So she's literally sort of scrounging and living with Donna Nobles because they're taking her in or something, as some like mad auntie. So and again, she gets killed off. She kind of had a really depressive life. You know, she was kind of taken in to danger at a young age. It was never with the doctor that long. Then has to put up with Sablon Glitz for years, which I'd imagine is just, you know, some form of torture. But then, you know, then to come back to Earth finally, and then realise, oh yeah, actually the years have finally caught up with me. I'm now, you know, not as young as I once was, and I've got no family, I've no roots of my own, and now I'm going to be killed off. Like, talk about sad. I don't know. Maybe that's just the way I'm looking at it. I don't know. I'm probably the only one there, but I don't know. It's just an observation. I don't know. I keep hearing that. Oh, she's so much better. I mean, yes. Again, she's more human. She's not as bounced. Well, she's still a bit mad. I mean, I know some people took issue with that. Thought it was a bit disrespectful, calling her a mad Mel or whatever it was. She's more humane, and well, not humane, but she's more human. She's more down to earth, and she's more like a person. Whereas before she wasn't. She was a bit too erratic and didn't feel real. She was like a real person sometimes. Whereas she does feel more like an actual human being. But like, again, does that mean she's a better character? I don't know. If that's in your criteria of what you think is a better character, or what makes a better character. Okay, she's more human, but she's still Mel. I mean, what has she done? Okay, she told the doctor to man up effectively. She rode the scooter. She drove it in a decent action scene, which I would have preferred the Doctor to do, because it would have been a better scene for him, a better Doctor moment, you know. But apart from that, what she's actually done, she's not had too much to do within reason. Okay, she infiltrated the whole thing with Susan Triad and Triad technology. And at the time, you know, she's okay. They're letting her have a bit of initiative, you know, going in undercover, doing something rather than just loitering about. But again, they've not done massively with her. So again, if they did kill her off, I would probably be left thinking, okay, move on. Like again, I wouldn't be devastated. She was never a favorite character of mine anyway. I don't know. I don't think she's been massively redeemed. I don't think she's been, you know, massively improved. I think she's just kind of they've brought her back, they've relaxed her a little bit. They've made her a bit more like an actual human being. But yeah, apart from that, I don't really think she's been too amazing. She's not been too important to the story. I mean, she was quite fairly important in the finale. I'll probably give her that. She was quite, you know, integral to that. But it's just, I don't know. I don't know if anyone else agrees. I don't think she's been massively integral or, you know, vastly improved since a return.
I mean, I think her character is better, to be quite honest with you. But again, there is that issue that she hasn't had much screen time. But if you're trying to rehabilitate a character like that, then why would you then go in the next season and kill that character off? You know what I mean? It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, to be quite honest with you. But you know, what can you know, he's the showrunner, he'll do whatever the fuck he wants to do, unless I keep telling people, you know, it's time to call this man out. You need to be calling him out, you know. He's not going to change unless you do, or look at it, we don't know what's going to happen with Series 3. Again, people out there claiming it's secure. It's not secure, right? RTD has said it himself, right? No decision will be made till next year. So you can keep saying it until you're blue in the face that it's secure. Nothing is secure right now, okay? There's a lot of factors at play, and season 2 will have to be one of those factors, and it will have to be an improvement. So we'll see what happens. But lads, I'm going to leave it there because I literally, that stream that I was supposed to do last night was cancelled. But it's on tonight at 9. So I want to obviously rest my voice and stuff. But if anybody else wants to add one last little thing before we head off, you're more than welcome to do so. If not, you can all do use our shout outs.
What a crazy, crazy world we live in, Noel.
That's it. It is madness, man.
Total madness.
Anyway, so I'm assuming nobody wants to say anymore. That's brilliant. So what we'll do is we'll do channel shout out. So start with you, Cinnamon, and I know you did a Red Dead Redemption stream. Have you? What else have you got coming up?
Well, that's it really. I've just got putting a lot of full focus on those really. Quite enjoyed doing them.
Here, have you done the secret missions to get the gold bars?
Gold bar. I don't think they don't have gold bars on the first game. I think all the gold bars is truly is in the sequel.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure there was gold bars in the first one. You go to the houses. You go to the houses in the middle of the night. You creep up to the houses, and where the little grill is, if you open the little grill, there's usually either money there. Oh, it's money. Sorry, not gold bars. You're right. It's money. There's secret little missions where you can get a shitload of money so you can buy your ammo and your guns and whatever you need. Like, you should check it out. I won't say anything because you got to figure it out yourself, like I did.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Right, Cinnamon's breaking up something fierce there. I fear we're going to lose him any second now. This sometimes happens with his computer. We'll go to Real Super Doctor next. So yeah, check out Cinnamon's channel, and he also has an X account. under the same name as well, just in case you didn't get any of that. And of course, PD is throwing the channels in as we speak. So I'll go to Real Super Doctor next.
You can find me on Twitter under Real Super Doctor, and I've got YouTube channels under Real Super Doctor.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course, I'm here. I have a couple of membership streams to do, so bear with me because I am busy on the other channel as well. I've got a protest to go to tomorrow as well at 2:00, so busy man. But you can catch me over in the Irish Zone and the Irish Zone. Get it off your chest, and of course, you can catch me here on the TARDIS Zone. So get subscribing to all of the channels if you can, and I will leave you with PD Rich.
Okay, I probably won't be around much in Rabbi's channel for the next couple of weeks because I'm busy in theatre pushing buttons. But I'll be back in a couple of weeks' time, so go over to Rabbi, he's a good friend of mine, and check out his channel.
Fantastic. And don't forget to check out Scottish Stavros and Friends Wrestling with Pop Culture, Drawn Jack Rabbit, as he's put in there as well. Near the Holics and all the other Gobster, the Gobster as well. Don't forget, and Type 40, the usual suspects. Anyway, I want to thank all my panelists for joining me this evening. Thank you very much. Queen Charlotte will be with us next week. She was just feeling a bit tired. As you do, you need a bit of a break once in a while. So Queen Charlotte will be back with us next week. So I hope she's put her feet up and she's enjoying her night. And to the rest of you, go ahead and do exactly that as well. Enjoy the rest of you. Or even unfortunately, I can't put my feet up because I'm going to be streaming again soon. It's all non-stop. Here. Channel is in there as well. Problem Big, and we will have those guys on soon. Problem Big, I'm in, and I know Jack has wanted to come on as well. So we'll try to organise a stream for next week. I know I've said it the last couple of weeks, but I've just been so fucking busy. I just haven't had the chance to talk to everybody and try to get everybody together. So I'll try to do that. I'll try to do that next week anyway. But it's really nice to see you, Real Super Doctor. And of course, John, you're always welcome on here anytime. If you want to come on next week, you just let me know if you're available. And I'll bring you on. You're more than welcome on here anytime. You do know that.
I'll let you know on Twitter.
No problem. Exactly. Yeah. That'll be better.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, thank you to everybody in the chat and all my moderators and members. Thank you very much to the members. Don't forget, I will have 2 membership streams coming up for you real soon. So look out for them. The one that's regularly on Sunday. And then, of course, I always one. So I'm going to get 2 membership streams out as soon as I can find a topic that I want to actually fucking talk about. That's the thing now. It's finding topics that I actually want to talk about. Anyway, good night. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care. Stay safe and look after each other. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, wrong trailer.
Oh.
Wrong trailer.